figured I'll just put together my own clock. The GPS transmits the current UTC time with each broadcast, as well as latitude and longitude. So you can see up here, here's what it looks like, and built it into a little case, and you can see on the screen there, it's GPS time, and then I put my call sign on there, which is hard-coded, just because I needed to use 4 lines. And then it's got the grid square, which is calculated from the latitude and longitude. And so it keeps track of time pretty well, and I've noticed my computer time off more than once now by checking with that, and I'm like, why aren't these FTAs decoding? And that's the reason. So you want to go to the next slide? Here's a diagram. I should have made it a little bigger, but it's an Arduino Nano knockoff, which costs about $3, and a GPS receiver I've had for years. I'm not quite sure how much those cost. I would guess maybe $20 at the time, but basically it was trash at this point, so I got some use out of it. The LCD panel is around $10, and I put a little switch on the side because it's pretty bright in the shack. I've never actually had to turn it off. I thought I might want to turn it off at some point. Down the bottom is this pretty simple diagram. GPS receiver connects via serial. It's 4800 baud to the Arduino Nano, and then that connects to the LCD with the I2C bus. Next slide. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I had kind of like in there neatly when I first built it, and I had it wired with directly to like wall wart, and for some reason that failed, so I just hooked the USB port into it, and then I have a little lamp on my desk with the USB plug, so I just plug it into that. The screen is the green part up on top, and then the white part is the GPS antenna. And then the Arduino is just kind of stacked on top of another board that handles the interconnection between the two, just so it would fit in the box. This box I actually tried to use for the antenna analyzer that I showed last year, but I couldn't fit all that crap in here, so I went to a bigger box, and I just reused it for this project. Next slide. So here's some of the code, probably too small to see. I use a couple libraries, one for the screen and one for the GPS. The setup is basically the LCD by how many lines there are, and initialize the serial port on Arduino for 4800 baud, and then just a loop with some prints to display all that stuff. Next slide. Here's an interesting function for getting the grid square. So at first it takes the lat long and makes them positive by adding 90 to the latitude or 180 to the longitude, and then it just kind of divides them and takes the remainders to get the letters, and then the remainder from that to get the numbers, and then the remainder of that gets you to the last 2 digits of your grid square. And one more slide. So here's the link to my blog. It's just aa0o.radio. I put all my radio stuff on there if you want to check it out. And then May 3rd at the meeting, I'm going to be doing a presentation here on Parks on the Air, so definitely come and check that out.
All right.
Any questions?
What's an Arduino?
It's like a microcomputer, so it's a microcontroller, I should say, and it's a programmable computer, basically. It's about this big, and it's super cheap, and it's very well used in hobbyist type things, so it's cheap and easy to program.
So I'm assuming that when you change latitude and longitude, it knows that it changes to grid square readout as well.
Yeah, every time it runs through the loop, which is I think every second, it will update that.
Okay, cool.
Crazy question. Is it possible to turn it into an NTP time server?
You probably can do that. You need to get an Ethernet interface to it, and I don't think the Nano can handle that much code. It's just a little bit of code that clocks are like $20. I don't really want to spend $20 on a clock, so I'm looking around in my shack, and I saw I've got an LCD screen, a GPS, and a Arduino, so I figured I'll just put together my own clock. The GPS transmits the current UTC time with each broadcast, as well as latitude and longitude. So you can see up here, here's what it looks like, and built it into a little case, and you can see on the screen there it's GPS time, and then I put my call sign on there, which is hard-coded, just because I needed to use 4 line. And then it's got the grid square, which is calculated from the latitude and longitude. And so it's keeps track of time pretty well, and I've noticed my computer time off more than once now by checking with that, and I'm like, why aren't these FTAs decoding? And that's the reason. So you want to go to the next slide? Here's a diagram. I should have made it a little bigger, but it's an Arduino Nano knockoff, which costs about $3, and a GPS receiver I've had for years. I'm not quite sure how much those cost. I would guess maybe $20 at the time, but basically it was trash at this point, so I got some use out of it. The LCD panel is around $10, and I put a little switch on the side because it's pretty bright in the shack. I've never actually had to turn it off. I thought I might want to turn it off at some point. Down the bottom is this pretty simple diagram. GPS receiver connects via serial. It's 4800 baud to the Arduino Nano, and then that connects to the LCD with the I2C bus. Next slide. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I had kind of like in there neatly when I first built it, and I had it wired with directly to like wall wart, and for some reason that failed, so I just hooked the USB port into it, and then I have a little lamp on my desk with the USB plug, so I just plug it into that. The screen is the green part up on top, and then the white part is the GPS antenna. And then the Arduino is just kind of stacked on top of another board that handles the interconnection between the two, just so it would fit in the box. This box I actually tried to use for the antenna analyzer that I showed last year, but I couldn't fit all that crap in here, so I went to a bigger box, and I just reused it for this project. Next slide. So here's some of the code, probably too small to see. I use a couple libraries, one for the screen and one for the GPS. The setup is basically the LCD by how many lines there are, and initialize the serial port on Arduino for 4800 baud, and then just a loop with some prints to display all that stuff. Next slide. Here's an interesting function for getting the grid square. So at first it takes the lat long and makes them positive by adding 90 to the latitude or 180 to the longitude, and then it just kind of divides them and takes the remainders to get the letters, and then the remainder from that to get the numbers, and then the remainder of that gets you to the last 2 digits of your grid square. And one more slide. So here's the link to my blog. It's just aa0o.radio. I put all my radio stuff on there if you want to check it out. And then May 3rd at the meeting, I'm going to be doing a presentation here on Parks on the Air, so definitely come and check that out.
All right.
Any questions?
What's an Arduino?
It's like a microcomputer, so it's a microcontroller, I should say, and it's a programmable computer basically. It's about this big and it's super cheap, and it's very well used in hobbyist type things. So it's cheap and easy to program.
So I'm assuming that when you change latitude and longitude, it knows that it changes to grid square readout as well.
Yeah, every time it runs through the loop, which is I think every second, it will update that.
Okay, cool.
Crazy selection. Is it possible to turn it into an NTP time server?
You probably could do that. You need to get an Ethernet interface to it, and I don't think the Nano can handle that much code. It's just a little bit of code that.
Where does it get the time from GPS?
Yeah, the GPS, along with the latitude and longitude, transmits the current UTC time. So that can be used for a lot of different features, but I'm just using it to display the time.
That's why your cell phones are so accurate time-wise.
You've all ran into a problem maybe where one of your mic connectors, the modular thing broke, the clip, not holding anymore, whatever. Anyway, you can go to Office Depot, Staples, and get these Cat 5 cables that have these connectors already on them. So all you need to do, if you don't have a tool to make your own connector, just cut it. You can direct wire it right to wherever you need it. But I also use this stuff for other cables that you might need. Now this converts a 8-pin screw-on mic connector to a modular. Works out real well. It's simple to do, and it's a good use of old 35mm film canisters. Yeah. Or you can use pill bottles. Lord knows we have pill bottles. So, but what really got me going on this recently is I got a foot switch from Ed, so I could use the foot switch to key the mic and what have you. Well, when I got home, come find out I had no way to hook the foot switch up. So I said, oh, this is no problem. I'll just get a hold of Heil and find that they must have a cable for this. Lo and behold, they do not. Now there's money down the tubes. To me, it seems like they would be wanting to do a small connection to use their product on a lot of different radios. So anyway, we got the 8-pin screw-on mic connector, tapped into it with a 1/4-inch plug for the foot switch, and this plugs into the radio, and now the foot switch works. You can also do the same thing. A lot of radios, the connectors in the back, the DIN plugs of the computer hookups and this and that, and you can tap into those, which a 1/4-inch plug on for a foot switch and this, that, and the other. But you can do these cables. They're simple. If you've got the time, it's really not that tough to do, and you don't have to have any special tools. But anyway, there's different cables on here. I like to do a lot of tinkering around out in the garage, and so I put a little radio out there. Well, this mic cord's pretty tight, and the radio's sitting a little farther away from where I wanted to go. So I thought, well, I need a mic extension. Well, I thought surely they'd have a Cat 5 cable extension. Well, not exactly. You have to buy a modular connector, and then you can put a Cat 5 cable on it. Got plenty of room now to reach that. No problem. But anyway, you get a chance to come up and just take a look at it and see it. This is some of the Cat 5 cable. Anywhere from $5 to $10 you can get, 3 to 10 feet of Cat 5 cable, which is 8-line cable. And it gives you something to do in the afternoon.
Hey, Bob, I suggested we had white people at thrift stores too.
Do what?
At thrift stores.
Oh yeah. Some of them. You used to be able to go into Big Lots, and sometimes they would have some of this stuff, but they have cut back on some of that stuff, which is a shame because, as a matter of fact, the 2-wire lead that I got to run my 1/4-inch plugs, that's off of something in the Dollar Tree for a cell phone or something hookup. Hey, there's easy ways around it. Thank you.
So I got into the digital, like DMR, D-Star, so I have all of that available. I have a YSF and Wires X, DMR, NXDN, D-Star, and this one will also do P25. So I got 2 hotspots running here, so you can connect. You can do it that way or use a repeater tower, whatever you want to do.
And this is a go box, it's all portable?
Yeah, it all fits into the box. I have a backpack with the antennas and wires, but the rest of it fits in the waterproof box. So I added in, it's kind of like I can bring it somewhere and communicate on a bunch of different bands or whatever I feel like. So the bands it covers, of course, are all the HF, 220, 70 centimeter. It does marine frequencies, GMRS, FRS, MERS, CB, DRATs, if I bring my laptop, APRS, Digipeater, iGate. I have internet. In the backpack, I have the AREDN, Ubiquity Nano, whatever they call that thing, to connect to the ham WAN stuff. What else? Get weather channels. You can do email, either through internet, digital, or through HF, or I think there's some 2-meter ones around here. Echolink, IRLP, All-Star. Then, of course, you can do Zello or scanners, things like that is all built in there. In St. Pete, there's a ham WAN connection. Pat's got the equipment. He hasn't quite got it working yet, but next year I'll have that. We can add that on. And then you can use all the apps. You know, like Peanut does D-Star on your phone. You can get the Peanut app for Android and tell them what room you want to be in, and they'll set it up for that. HamSphere, Echolink, TeamSpeak, AirEDN. If I got no hardware, no internet, I have hardware in there that will do, you can make your own intranet. So if we're at somewhere and we needed to talk local with other people while using this to get out, you can put the app on. It's a APK Android app, and you can talk as long as you have Wi-Fi, which I have a bullet in there. You can put that up, and you can make Wi-Fi for you locally on your intranet, and then you can talk out on this or whatever you wanted to do. That's about it. It's got 100 amp hours worth of lithium-ion batteries, 4 25-amp-hour packs in there. It charges via solar or electricity. So, somebody have a question? Okay. So, that's pretty much it. It got a lot bigger than I wanted, like I said. It weighs 78 pounds, that box does, but it has wheels, and the backpack weighs 40 pounds with all the stuff I wanted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's heavy, but it moves. So, yep.
Okay, I'm pretty much a newbie at this.
Okay.
You have all these different systems, but how do you know what somebody else is transmitting on?
That's why I put all these different systems in, so you can listen to whatever. If you listen, I like all that emergency stuff, so if you listen, like the big flooding, all kinds of Zello chat rooms set up for people calling for help. There's all kinds of, obviously, ham radio people are doing their part. People who may have FRS or GMRS radios, break them out, of course, if there's an emergency. You can listen to them on here or communicate. There's the whole legal side if it's GMRS approved or whatever, but I do have a GMRS license. So you can do that. So it all comes down to what people will be using. I don't know.
Here's somebody talking. How do you can't pick them up, take the receiver. How do you know what they're sending on so you can pick up the...
You don't, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
So how would you know what they're using? But if you do know, I wanted to build in the way to do it. So you can put it on and scan and run, you know, put GMRS or FRS would be common for anybody who doesn't know anything about radios because they'll probably have them. But that or MERS, so CB.
If you're local,
Right.
everybody here knows
Any ham radio
the
person
local
will use
stuff
ham
is going
stuff.
on in the 10-county area pretty much. So if you were going out of state or whatever,
Right.
somebody somewhere who you're going to coordinate with would tell you at least where the...
All the ham official stuff, there's all official plans in place and frequencies and channels and stuff like that. If they're trying to talk to just civilians who are stuck in their house or whatever, you don't know what they're going to use. But this will listen to, and I guess you can talk on CB on the 891 and the 857. So I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but if you're in some emergency situation, you have the ability to at least hear what they're saying. That you can do. So.
Is the question really though as simple as if you have if you have 10 radios, one of them goes off, how do you know which one it was?
Right.
You gotta wait until they do it, you gotta look at the radios, right?
Well, you can see them all at least, and in my future things I want to do is create separate types of speakers at different areas. So I just kind of ran out of time and room, and it was getting big enough. But at some point, I want to put different types of speakers. With that, you can make an LED light up. Something, you know, they get a signal, boop, so you'll know which one, and you'll know which one it was. So, anything else? Yep.
Yeah, would you talk just a bit about the ham WAN?
Ham WAN?
Yeah, ham WAN.
In Tampa, one of our members actually got this up and running. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I had to go.
Yeah, you were on it, but who was one of our members here actually set it up?
Brian.
Brian, yes.
Yeah, set it up, and it was in Tampa, and then he created a St. Pete one. There's a website, but what is it, flscg.org. If you look that up, you can see it. And you need a piece of equipment. He says a MicroTik Dynadish 5. He got a different version, a cheaper version. He got it connected, but he hasn't emailed him to get out. You have to, he has it blocked, so unless he approves you to get out on the internet. So he's connected at his house, but he hasn't got approval to go out on the internet yet. That was like 60 bucks? 70. So he's got a dish, it's 5 gigahertz, it goes up on a pole. You gotta have line of sight with 5 gigahertz, but you point it towards this thing and you can get on the internet, and they have ham frequencies that we can use for internet. So, anything else? Once you're on regular internet, then you can use any of these little hotspots. You got 2 of these hotspots in here, you can use those, any of the other internet stuff.
One more question, Norm.
Yep.
So you put this all together, and you did that like as part of some emergency organization?
No, I'm geographically challenged, so it's hard to get to become a member. So I travel in an RV. I live in an RV and I travel all the time. So this is where I am the most. So that's why I kind of joined this club. But they don't really want you to be too involved if you're not around. So it's a pain in the neck. But I still like it, and if I ever was somewhere for something, I would go. But
Great. Well, nice setup. That's great.
so, thanks.
Yeah.
So any other? Yeah.
So you have your shop in your RV?
Yeah. Actually, now most of it's in here, but my wife's happy it's no longer sitting in the RV. So.
You'll have a flower pot wherever it was when you get home.
What'd you say?
You'll have a flower pot wherever it was when you
Yeah,
get back.
exactly. Yeah, you give up the space, it goes quick. So. Anything else? Yep.
Have you
All right.
considered adding aviation frequencies to that?
This has aviation. What's it called? The Kenwood does AM aviation frequencies built in. It has that built in. You can monitor. You can't communicate on it. Actually, I have it unlocked. They did all the unlock stuff just in case. I don't know if it still lets you talk on
I'm
it.
putting one together, but I'm adding the aviation 118, 136.
Yeah, that's built into this radio right here. So you can listen. I don't, like I said, I did the unlock thing. I don't know if it lets you broadcast on that if needed, But
Yeah, well, I have intention of transmitting everything.
you're gonna do, yeah. Okay. And I don't know what the rules are for using that frequency or whatever.
None of it.
None? That's a good frequency, no rules. I like it. So, yeah, in that case, I'll have to look and see if it can actually broadcast on that or not. I'm not sure.
Well, you may need a restricted radio telephone
Okay. A permit. Oh, okay.
license.
Yeah.
Pretend you're an airport.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, anything else?
Thanks, Norm.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so this is kind of the culmination of several different projects coming together. One, the pursuit of a piece of gear I've wanted since I was in college. And two, internet radio kind of died. Johnny, would you cue the, yep. So, internet radio is great. Well, you can listen to it, it's wonderful. It's like shortwave radio, this is the way it was supposed to be. And it's fantastic up to the point when, it doesn't work anymore. And you gotta, there it went, nuts. You gotta, any rate, great site, craftbone.com. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but first, in pursuit of a TMC GPT 10K I found down in Miami. And that's a pretty decent, is it going? Yeah, it's going. There we go. Here we go. We're driving to Miami, hit the Caymans, or the little alligators right there, right at the first rest stop. Just driving over Miami on Alligator Alley. Beautiful views. Okay, there's the reservation and everything, and we're getting a little bit closer. Boom. There's the transmitter. 10,000 watts, 2 to 32 megahertz continuous. It's like finding a Model T in the middle of a field. It's going to take me a couple years to get that thing going again. 3-phase power supply. That was basically for my benefit to remember where all the wires are going to go. That's how we moved it. Rollers. This is how they built the pyramids. There's the beastie. Okay, and we're going to roll. Yeah, we got it up in the back of the Chrysler that way. It's trailered. This is coming from Miami now. and I'm gonna drive this thing back to Tampa. I cannot believe I made it, but it worked. So now it's safe, more or less. There it is, loaded, unloaded, get ready to unload the thing. And now we got a 20-foot carport in the front and an addition on the back. That big building is going to be split into a machine shop and a big radio project. So, okay, they gave me some spare parts. Anybody need some final tank coils? A couple other fiddly bits. I also got an R390 out of it. There's a power transformer again. The biggest thing about that is keeping that thing dry. We're going to have to bake it, run DC through the coils to heat it out and put it in a desiccant. So that's the plan. Because, you know, those things, they don't like moisture. And we're talking 7,500. Oh, geez, bad insulation. Sorry. Hey, I think Barbarella owned that. So anyway. So one of the things I got out of this was a couple of Dynaco ST70s. The guy just handed me these amplifiers, but you can see how badly they were built. The resistor was sticking up and stuff like that. So that's how that worked out. The amplifiers were kind of a gift. And at the same time, I was out of an internet radio. So that's it. Perfect. So what I ended up doing was I took a Raspberry Pi, which is kind of the bigger version, a much more versatile thing than the Arduino. Don't get me wrong, the Arduino is a swell microcontroller. And all the stuff is on Bob Rathbone's site, internet radio. I added a touch screen and a high-end DAC board for the audio, and great instructions on how to program it. And I just got a ton of stations. Works great. There you have it. Not very much. The ham radio component is that transmitter, but I'll be damned if I was going to bring that thing.